So I think that is a message which the students can take up in the current scenario, that almost all platforms have matured enough,
Hmm.
that they have built good security controls in their application. But it's the main thing is to dig deeper into the application, understand the landscape, the attack surface which that application has, and see what are the points which could be overlooked by other researchers.
I mean, it's like you should not be finding bugs using someone else's nuclear template. You should write your own.
Write your own.
Search level
Mm,
should be of that level that you are writing your own and then exploiting it in masses.
right.
So it's like finding bugs in masses. That should be your it's like skill level, and that's where you will make a difference.
Awesome. Jumping onto the next part, in this current scenario, like we have so many platforms for bug bounty, and there are many applications also with different scope. They are offering the bug bounty program in. So, how do you choose which platform is good for you, or maybe like how do you choose which program or application is worth pursuing?
Yeah, my approach was like that. Like during almost the mid of my college, I was not doing full-time bug bounties because I had a job and I was doing pen testing for Cobalt. So
Mm-hmm.
the rest time, what I used to spend was the applications which I used, like I was using for
Right.
day-to-day life. So if you see on HackerOne, I'm still, I mean, I haven't hunted for like 2, 3 years on that platform. It's called blockchain.com. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a wallet, a blockchain wallet, like a Bitcoin wallet. So I used to find a critical there every 3 or 4 months, and I'm still their top hacker based on.
Okay.
So the reason I used to find so many bugs there was because I was using that platform for my personal,
Own purpose. Mm-hmm.
and that's why it's like that's why I told you, it's like when you know more about an application, you tend to find more bugs. So I had access, I could figure out areas like I used to log in like every 5, 6 days, so I was the first one to notice any new features or something like that, and I used to find bugs.
Mm-hmm.
So that can be one approach, that it's like pick a target which you are actually using,
Yeah.
and even if you are not, then use it. I mean, it's like stick to a platform, use it as much as you can, and
Mm-hmm.
definitely you'll find more and more bugs. You'll find new features more, it's like more frequently, and then more bugs.
Mm-hmm.
So when I slowed down on bug bounties, that was my it's like my target. I used to hunt on like very few projects, and it was because I used them regularly, so it was easier to find bugs. So yes.
Right. Okay. So your major approach was to pick up applications which you have a good knowledge about and which you use almost in your daily task or any interest basis, right? So that will be totally a great approach because you get to know about the platform. So incrementally you can assess if there are any changes and see if there are bugs. So any other more strategies you want to advise? Maybe you didn't focus on those, but you want to advise the students.
Well, it's like there can be multiple approaches. Like one, the platforms which you are more familiar about. So
Mm-hmm.
when I used to target more and more trading applications, like applications which had it's like trading features, be it uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a blockchain or not. I mean, it's like it doesn't have to be cryptocurrency related, it can be general forex trading as well. So I used to
Mm-hmm.
target that because I was working in a it's like a in a trading company.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew the ins and outs, so I had the basic business logic understanding, that it's like how MetaTrader works, how leverages work, it's like
Mm-hmm.
contracts work. Like I knew the terminologies, and it's like the basic business logic behind it. So
Mm-hmm.
that used to be my favorite target, because I knew it's like how all trading applications works. Plus I used to it's like have own my own cryptocurrencies, and also it's like I was more
Yeah,
aware.
you can test that. Mm.
So it was easier for me. Other approaches can be, it's like some people go for big targets. So
Mm-hmm.
a concept in computer science that, and this is something I tell to everyone. This was in our engineering as well. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
People think that, okay, this program has like 100 vulnerabilities, so I'm not hunting on it because, it's like there has been, it's like 100 bugs already. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not the thing. The thing about computer science, there is one line, I'm forgetting which subject it was. So it says that, it's like if a particular application has more number of vulnerabilities, there are chances that it will always have more
More
vulnerabilities.
vulnerabilities, yeah. There's a
So,
probability, higher probability. Hmm.
this is something, it's like it, and it's quite common. And again, then this also correlates with, if the application is bigger, there are more chances
Hmm.
of getting bugs. So
Right.
more code complexities, more chances of making a mistake.
Hmm.
So, you can pick a big target, spend months on it. Like, it's like targets like Google, Yahoo. They are like very, very big targets. So you need to spend like months, 2 months, 3 months, just to
Hmm.
like prepare a, it's like list of things, notes of what you
Infrastructure.
have
Hmm.
explored and what you have seen.
Yeah.
So you can do that as well. It's like, stick to one big target and keep working on it, because Google has, like, if you pick Google as a, Google, Apple, like, as a target,
Hmm.
it's a huge target, and they are launching something new every day. So you have chances of finding something your entire
Right.
life, I think so. So that is one approach as well. There are few people, and then, it's like, then there are a few people who, what they will do is like, they will perform very good, and then
Hmm.
try to hit on private invites, and then quickly find bugs. That's also one way of doing it. But then,
Hmm.
that completely depends how free you are, because you have to start immediately, uh,
Hmm.
and then, it's like, and then exhaust it till you find the last bug. So that is one kind of approach as well. So,
Right.
I mean, you can go ahead with what suits with your timetable and everything, and it's like, and plan accordingly. Yes.
That can you follow? What do you think about selecting the target based on impact? So, like thinking it from the perspective that if there is a bug in this platform, it will be very good impact, significant impact. So, what do you think? Is that a good strategy as well?
By impact, you are talking about the
Like
ratio of
use base,
fault.
uh, yeah, like the maybe confidentiality of data and big user base. So, think
Okay, then
that's the
that,
application.
like, you can filter with policies as well. It's like HackerOne gives you an option where you can select with how much people pay, and it's like what kind of bugs they pay. So you can, yes, yeah. I mean, again, that again, falls back to my previous strategy, where, it's like, a platform, so these kind of bugs are prevalent there. So you pick similar targets, because you know what to find, and that has a higher impact. So yes,
Right.
that's there. And if you talk about, selecting based on, okay, this company gives me better rewards,
Mm-hmm.
it's a choice. But I think, for beginners, I mean, they should first choose their comfort where they're good at. I think,
Mm-hmm.
choosing based on rewards is for people who have already mastered in bug bounties. And then, it's like they want to ensure that time the time they spend is rewarded accordingly. So I think
Yeah.
it's just a personal opinion. I might,
Mm-hmm.
many
No,
people
no, totally. That makes sense. Hmm.
go with the companies which give you better bounties.
Yeah.
But for me, what I think is, like, for beginners, they should not worry much about bounties. It should be more about, how they can leverage their skills to get the most out of it. Once you are, it's like, the master of art, then you can, it's like, make sure you get paid for your time. So,
Exactly. That's great. Actually, that aligns with our previous discussion also, where students should be more focused on learning, getting the learning outcomes rather than the monetary part. So, from the platform perspective, like there are some legal requirements when you are reporting the bugs. So that's why we have this responsible disclosure procedure, right? So, have you faced any instance? Have you faced such challenges related to legality of the bug you have found? How you have reported. So, have you faced any such challenge in your journey?
I don't think so, because I mostly didn't touch targets which did not have a responsible disclosure program.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept away from it, because why expect from someone who doesn't have it? So, but
Right.
yes, I have reported it, and it was mostly an accidental find, because I was
Mm-hmm.
working on, it's like I was using a product, and then, it's like your fingers move somewhere, and then you try to
Yeah. Yeah.
figure out.
Some interesting thing comes up.
So
Yeah.
I do report it, but then I don't expect anything in return. If they do, fine. If they don't, I don't bother them as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't faced any legal challenges as of now. I mean,
So
till I have tried to avoid it.
wonderful.
It's like I've
Yeah.
tried to avoid it.
Making life easier.
Yeah, making life easier. I mean,
uh,
expect from someone who is going to pay you rather than just send it
yeah.
out.
And nowadays, like there is also a, some debate on if students report something, if the students report something in, targets which are out of scope. So they report good finding, but they do not get anything in return. And then there are some students who are not disappointed with this response from the owner that even though it is out of scope, we reported a critical finding. So what do you think about that?
Well, it's like see, as per the laws, if we talk about the, it's like the green areas, you should not report it. Simple, because they said it. They should also not receive a report. Simple as
Yeah.
that. You're not paying for it. Just you don't
Hmm.
get the report. But then, it's like if you talk about the gray areas, which I have seen as, it's like as a triager as well. It's like sometimes there has been situations where something which was out of scope was made as an exception. It happens quite many times. But then the thing is, you should avoid it. And maybe it's like when you have reported a lot of bugs to their platform, okay, you can simply ask them that, okay, it's like I found a bug here. Does it make sense to it's like report it to? Just ask them, because if we talk about legal terms, if something is mentioned is as an out of scope, it is an unauthorized testing. You should not be testing that if you follow by the rules. But there I have seen exceptions happening, but that should not be your it's like first assumption that you are going to get an exception. Just stick to
Mm,
the scope, and if you accidentally find something out of scope, just ask them that, okay, uh, is it okay that I report it to you? I mean, it's like and but don't expect anything. So
yeah.
I think you should not be disappointed for that fact, because it was mentioned. Following the rules, mostly you won't get disappointed. If
Yeah.
you are not following the rules, then you should not even expect, it's like something great out of it. It's you're just lucky if they, it's like if they are being generous enough,
Acknowledging.
yeah,
Mm,
acknowledging it. So yeah, that should be it.
yeah. So go mainly go with the details mentioned in the responsible disclosure policy,
Yeah.
and anything which is in scope, definitely give it a try. But out of scope, you can skip in the beginning till you do not hit anything. By chance, maybe you are hitting some interesting finding which
Yeah.
you want to talk about. So that's great, actually. Then the other question I have, I think this is one interesting thing which I want to know from you. Like, what tips you think if you would have gotten in the beginning, it would have been better experience for you in the bug bounty field.
I think, I mean, yes, I think I was not a computer science student. I mean, during my school times, although I did engineering in IT. So yes, after that I was. But the thing I realized was, it's like you should know development, a bit of development. Yeah, you should practically do development, make some projects. And what I made mistake in my very early years was, it's like when I was teaching myself programming, when I was teaching myself PHP, everything. So what I was doing was I was learning it individually. Like I learned MySQL database, how it works. I learned about queries and everything. That helped me in creating SQL injection payloads. Same PHP helped me to it's like understand how the application works. JavaScript also helped me. It's like how it works, the application works. But the biggest mistake I did was I was not taking it as a whole. I was not doing a full stack thing. So um, as a student, what you should do is write your own application, like a very simple CMS, maybe with an admin panel, um, with a front end, with a back end, with a database. And it's like, and then when you see how it interacts with each other, then it's like when you are hunting on an application, you will get hits that, okay, this might be happening from behind. Because see, in web applications, still everything is black box, right? So until unless you cannot guess what is happening behind the scene,
Hmm.
you get very limited with it's like vulnerabilities. And that's something I realized during my college time, that I was doing good with bug bounties, but I realized that there was a saturation point. I was not able to find more creative bugs, and that's where I did it's like I created my own web application in Node.js, connected it with MongoDB, and then it's like created an admin panel, and created an authentication mechanism and everything. So when
Right.
I wrote this small application, then I had more ins and out of it's like how privilege escalations, what different privilege escalations ideas
Right.
are being put into
Mm-hmm.
it's like what developer mistakes can happen, etc., etc. So when you do that, when you literally do that, it's like you perform better. And that's why when I was moving towards Web3, the first thing I did was I wrote smart contracts. I literally wrote smart contracts and their test cases. So I knew that this is the mistake I don't have to it's like do just reading reports and jumping into bug bounties. I need to do a bit of development. So I would advise that. I mean, it's like you don't have to be it's like a pro developer, just a basic, like create one application, small application.
Yeah, creating the application from scratch will help you in giving the idea of working like while finding the bugs. So maybe there can be a chain of bugs also you are able to figure out with that part because you know the functionality of the application now. So that's actually an interesting tip, and this will go a long way in the security engineering career because from bug bounty you can explore multiple careers, right? So and I would like to hear from you actually, like what do you think as a bug bounty hunter? What are the career options open for the students in the next step?
I mean, this is what I followed. I did a lot of bug bounties, added it in my CV because that was appreciated. That okay, you have found bugs here. Then I got my first job at Deriv, the trading company. Sorry. And then it's like and that's where I built my corporate profile, and that helped me get a job at HackerOne, and that's how I escalated one things to another. So I think if you want to get into security now, I think there are companies which will give you internship and everything. But back in my time, it's like first there were no jobs, and when the jobs started coming in, they were only looking for people who already knew it because there were no one to train them, right?
Right.
So I built a profile, and then it's like there are a few things apart from technical skills you should also learn. It's like communication skills, report writing skills, because see how a company works is it doesn't it's not like bug bounties where you write anything and it's the other one's headache to figure it out.
Right.
So when you work for a company, it's like you are there as an employee to help your developers understand what the bug is. And that's where it's like that's I think that was one of the reasons I got into HackerOne, because of my ability to it's like extract the best information for a report and explain it in a very simple language which is readable by the developers in in the in
While introducing.
yeah, yeah. So it's easier for developers to understand the impact and it's like understand the vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, those skills are also very important, and of course, like for any job, communication skills are very important. So yeah, I mean, it's like if you focus on all of these, you'll be at it's like you can scale up very fast.
Okay. Based on this, like you mentioned, report writing. Just one question about that. What are the tips and what are the things you will advise the students to include for a clear communication?
I have a standard, it's like a way of reporting bugs,
Mm-hmm.
which works for me. It has been working for me for like a very long time. It has been appreciated as well.
Mm-hmm.
So first is the title. Title is something where you write like, it's like one liner for your bug. Okay. You can try to make it catchy if you're doing bug bounty so it gets attention. Okay. Then the description. In description, there are two ways. One, you write, if it's a general bug, you just make it very simple and then write about it, add some links for
Mm-hmm.
reference. If it's a specific business logic bug, you can explain, there you can explain that why do you think this business logic was there and why do you think this is exploitable. That is something you can write. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the POC. This is very important. Where I see most people making mistakes is people people think that okay, they write a POC based on their understanding.
Yeah.
But your approach of writing a POC should be if someone very new who
Hmm.
has no understanding of what it is, how they are going to produce the bug. So
Right.
it's like I mean, like I can give you a very simple example. What I have seen is there will be one set of people who just said, okay, the cross-site scripting is here. Okay. But then there will be, so the better way of writing is that you say that, okay, log into this account using this this particular account, if there are multiple roles,
Right.
and go to this feature which is available here in the settings page, or maybe whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
then that's where you see the it's like this is where the cross-site shifting exists. And then at the end, you can also write a automated POC which does it in one step or something, but then do write the steps to reach there, so that for anyone, like for example, a developer is attending a report, and
Right.
it's like he might, it's very easy for him to, okay, go this, go there, go that, do this, done, rather than just it's like going for just one liners. So if
Right.
you POC well, it's very advantageous. And
Mm-hmm.
then I write about impact. So that's where it's like
Elaborate on.
yeah, you elaborate why, it's like indirectly stating why you should
Yeah.
be considered. So, and there, don't fake it. I mean, it's like people are smart enough to realize that it's exaggerated. So the best way would be to it's like give proofs that why do you think this is possible. And even if there are assumptions, mention that, okay, these are the assumptions, and ask them that, okay, can you confirm if this was possible.
Mm-hmm.
So when they come back to you, you have an it's like negotiating point that, okay, this could have been of higher vulnerability, it's a higher severity or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, one more thing is the severity. Mostly what hunters do is they try to exaggerate. Like if it's a low, they will file it as medium. It's a medium, they'll file it as high or critical. There are people who will file critical for everything. We have seen that, and that kind of upsets the other side. So
Right.
you should be fair with your judgment, uh, and listen to their judgment as well. And then it's like add a suggested remediation. It's always a bonus if you can think about a suggested remediation. That
Mm-hmm.
is very much appreciated by the other side. That, okay, he even it's like give you a suggested fix. So that kind of softs down the other end, and then it's more, they are more in favor with you. So these psychological things are important. Why I'm telling you is someone who is, because I have been on the other side. What
Mm-hmm.
you see is, like, you see a lot of it's like noisy reports. So when someone writes nicely, it's like you know it's human tendency that it gets more attention, and
Mm-hmm.
it and something that makes the other end's life easier, they will be more favorable to you as well. That's how human being work. Although it's like on all platforms, it's very it's like it's very neutral, it's always neutral. But then it's like it's a better way of making your reputation. It's like when someone as a trader will see, okay, this guy really writes good reports, that's a it's an appreciation from the other side, and builds a good relationship. So that is something you should
Right.
it's like that's something you are appreciated as well.
Actually, that's a great point. So, mainly the distinguishing factors is bringing clarity in the POC, proof of concept, so that developers can or the triagers can reproduce it easily. And mitigate, when you add mitigations, especially the mitigations are important piece but that tells you don't only know to crack the application,
Yeah.
but you also know the fix. So that gives you 360-degree knowledge in the application itself. And from the severity point of view, is there a metrics which you follow? Any?
I do CVSS scoring. That's it. And what I would suggest is, like, if you don't know CVSS scoring, you should learn it. It's very simple. Just go to first.org. They have a free course for it. It's a 2-3 hours video, and they have lots of exercises where they ask you to do the CVSS scoring. So if
Okay.
you do that, you will. I mean, it's like it's a one-day job. Like, any weekend, you sit for like 5-6 hours, and you are done with CVSS scoring, and you can properly write CVSS scores.
So is
So
the website first.org?
.org. It's by the people who developed CVSS scoring mechanism. It's called
Okay.
first.org. So they have a free training course as well. So you can do that with they have with examples as well. It's very nice. You can do that.
Awesome. We'll share these websites also in the resources after the session.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
And the last question about bug bounty session, especially. So, what are the resources, recommendations, which you will advise for the students to, who are beginning in bug bounty? What are
Mhm.
your first few resources which you will recommend?
Okay. So if you are like beginning from like complete zero, what I would say is learn the basics of programming, it's like basics of web programming,
Mm-hmm.
and create an application. What I said earlier, it's like create a full stack application completely on your own. And
Mm-hmm.
after that, what I would suggest is there is a book called The Web Hacker's Handbook.
Right.
It's written by the same people who built Portswigger, Bubsuit. I have read that and I find it amazing. I still find it the most useful one.
Expensive,
Uh,
yeah.
that is something you can read. It's a very huge book, but you should read it, and you will get to know about almost all the vulnerabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like if it's like it's career wise as well. Like if you're not just talking about bug bounties. So when you are doing an internal pen test, there is something where you need to report low priority bugs as well. So you need to cover all the checklist. So there is a checklist called ASVS checklist, which is a standard which is followed by all pen testers across the world. So
Mm-hmm.
just download that sheet, and it's like the Excel sheet will have for every types of like authentication, injection, access control. They have a checklist, huge checklist.
Mm-hmm.
And you can read from that as well. It's like to understand like what all checklist. It's like checklist you should follow while doing a complete overall 100% pen test. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And no, might not be applicable for bug bounties, because most of the checklist won't work for bug bounties, because it's about low priority vulnerabilities. So it's
Mm-hmm.
very useful for you when you join a company, as an internal pen tester, because you're expected to find everything.
Right.
And then read others reports. Definitely you should read others report. You should read, and that should be your continuous source of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
What I used to do was, I used to pick, it's like all the top hackers
Mm-hmm.
from all individual hall of fames, and then find their blog, and then follow them on Twitter, and then find their blog, and then read all their blogs. So this was applicable way back. This is still applicable now, but it's more streamlined, because you have a lot of, it's like now Medium. You can just search on Medium and find bugs. So that also works. Then if you want to do recon and stuffs, I think Project Discovery. It's like Sandeep was my colleague at HackerOne. He has built one. His team has built a wonderful tool. That is good, but then don't rely completely on that. You should like learn to maybe write your own, find your own bugs and automate it. So
Mm-hmm.
automation will help you harvest more bounties, but the finding should be of your own. Maybe you research something, you find a bug in a popular platform which is being used everywhere. That is something, you can write your own templates or something like that. That's one way as well. And yeah, HackerOne reports, public reports is nice. Maybe collaborate with different friends, so that that you will find more bugs. So
Mm-hmm.
I collaborate with my friend Aditya. So we mostly hunt together these days, if we are hunting ever. So yeah, I mean, that is also good way of learning, because you get better ideas.
Right.
And then there are lots of YouTube channels you can follow. And ArmsX, it's like his live recon is one of the best way to understand how a hacker approach for
Mm-hmm.
a for a target for a target. So he has uploaded a couple of, not a couple of, it's just uploaded multiple videos. So yeah, you can see that as well. And like live, how it's like a hacker approaches approaches a target. Because see, at the end, you can learn all the skills from different places through CTFs and everything, but
Right.
I've seen many people who have done good certifications or played lots of CTFs struggling to find bugs in real life. The
Mm.
problem is because when you play CTFs and everything, you know that it is vulnerable, but
Right.
it's completely different. You don't even know what it is vulnerable to. So
Mm-hmm.
so that approach, to find bugs is very different. So that is something also many people need to learn. So that is something, it's like you can do. So yeah, I mean, it's a continuous process, learning process. Keep learning. And the best thing what I would suggest is, like, whatever you don't understand, don't skip it. Just Google about it. So when you see a web application, you will see tons of new things, and then you can Google about it, be it business logic, be it technology, or anything. Just Google about it, read the documentations, learn to read the documentation. It's very important. It's like read API documentations and everything. And when you have the capability to learn things on your own,
Mm-hmm.
it's super fast in it's like bug bounties as well. So I think that's the overall it's like conclusion.
So
Yeah, I
that
mean, you
is
can do CTS, but CTS won't guarantee you bounties in real life. I mean, it will teach you the process, but then yes, you have to make another set of efforts to actually find bugs. So that's good for learning methods, but when you go in real life finding bugs, I mean, you need the approach as well. You know, you need to approach a target where you don't know what the vulnerability is going to be. So
exactly.
you have to look for everything. Yes.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Shashank. I think you spent a lot of time here and helped the students, by answering the questions related to bug bounty. And we covered good depth of questions as well, where you can, share your experience and intricacies of challenges involved throughout the journey as a bug bounty hunter. So that was a great session, and we got quality inputs from you. And I hope the students have good takeaway from today's session. So, as like this is something which we will wrap up for today, but definitely we have more things coming up from your end, because we have more questions about Cred Shield and how you started, how you transitioned from bug bounty to Cred Shield. So we have a lot more coming from Shashank's side, and we'll be covering that in the next part. Okay. Thank you so much, Shashank.
Thank you.
We'll wrap up here for the current bug bounty session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.